Hi everyone, this is Socionics channel where we help you to broaden your knowledge about yourself and other people. So today we're gonna talk about the common mistakes that people are making when they are trying to type other people. And hopefully you will find it useful for yourself, and we would like to point out that these mistakes are common for many people, and we in our earlier stages of typing did the same mistakes, and we feel like this is a natural way of your learning process. So as soon you're able to detect these mistakes, maybe it will help you to move forward.
Okay, so one of the mistakes that I was making in my earlier stages of typing is I tried to look or similarities of people that I know to the new people that I type. And when I found some similarities, if it fits, okay, it looks like the same type because I already see similarities with something I know. But in fact, I was quite often actually wrong because there are much more variety and in every single type. And to really know and type using the similarity, you need to type hundreds and thousands of people, being confident, that you're right, because you just don't have these examples of types that you never met before, and you need to have many of each of them.
Yeah, so the second one that we feel is also a common mistake is when people try to understand, when they try to analyze other person's speech and they hear unfamiliar aspects for them, they try to interpret these aspects through aspects that are in values for them. So, for example, I have introverted logic not in values, and on the earlier stages of typing, when I was listening to a person who talks a lot on introverted logic, and it was unfamiliar aspect for me, obviously, and I was trying to interpret it just through extroverted logic, and I was trying to find similarities with extroverted logic that is familiar to me, and it was a wrong way from the very beginning to type the person. So this is important to
As a result, you were thinking that you see in extroverted logic when in fact there was very little of it or almost none.
Yeah, I just didn't understand what are the other aspects that he is talking on. I just couldn't figure that out. And my brain just didn't process introverted logic as good as now, for example. But because when you consciously understand like what aspect is you're not paying attention to, it's already a good thing because you noticed that. The worst thing is when you just don't understand it and you're not moving forward in this direction, like you're not improving it at all.
One more example is when person is so concentrated on proving to somebody else, which is quite often that he is right and he sees for certain reasons that
and he might be right in some things, of course.
Yeah. But quite often it may be opposite. But when you're just so concentrated, you try to fit all the arguments and everything that person that you type in were saying, you're trying to fit into this kind of borders of how you think who should be, not his real type, but what he think you should be. And you're just thinking that, he really is this because and you match and in fact it's not. You need to have have ability to look from the
from different angles
and try to always analyze it and be as objective as possible.
Yeah, sometimes I've heard that people were saying, well, this person doesn't really have a clear type at all. But I think the problem here was that it doesn't matter. So what I've learned is it doesn't really matter what we think about someone's type. It doesn't matter. The type exists and this person has a specific type. And it's just your problem, our problem. Do we understand and interpret it correctly or not? So if not, then of course we will type him in correctly, and it's what he's saying will not really fit in the picture that we sort of created, then it's not his problems that he is saying something wrong. It's just our problems that we don't interpret correctly and understood the messages that he was sending through his words.
Okay, let's review some of the comments.
Let's review.
that we have under our recent videos.
So Taylor Swift's Socionics type is ethical, intuitive, extroverted. There is no ethical, intuitive introvert who would so openly and loudly sing on her relationships and feelings across the entire country. The way she projects and orchestrates emotions in straight out of extrovert, intuitive, extrovert profiles, and in Socionics is known as extroverted feeling. This video is spot on about their being ethical and intuitive, but that's extroverted feeling she is using. Okay, so well, at least we agreed that she's she's intuitive and ethical, so this is good already.
Yeah.
This is a good starting point. Yeah, usually I like when people start. Her type is this. Like, I decided that it's this type and I have no doubt about it and I don't really want to discuss. I just wanted to leave this opinion here and just let it be.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Come on. Okay, so you don't want to discuss, but we will still comment. There is no ethical, intuitive introvert who would so openly, say about his relationship. Well, do you know all the people who are ethical, intuitive, and introverted? So you're know this for sure. You've typed every single person. So every time somebody's saying there is zero, no people of this type. People of this type would never say that. Never, ever. And I know this for sure. Everybody knows that. This is another favorite. Everybody knows that. Well, sorry. So probably they can. Well, you can't say for everyone. You can't say for everyone. Maybe they could. Maybe they don't. How do you know that? Okay. Well, so usually, when we are reading the comments, we are reading all the comments always, and we are always looking for comments that are constructive, that there's a lot of arguments.
Yeah, your comments are very important for us, and we actually consider that we can do mistakes, and we all humans, and that even in the end we always put the validity that we think it matches the type, but it's never 100%.
It's never 100%, exactly.
So you will see certain percent that we always consider there can be some other type, because you really need much, much more than just one interview, even if it's hour long, to really be confident about.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a chance to ask person directly what he or she meant saying this or that. Then you don't have a chance to ask deeper questions, to go through to go deeper in some aspects to figure out.
Which would make it a lot faster.
A lot faster and a lot easier, but unfortunately you can't do that when you're just typing celebrities, maybe not for now. For us.
Yeah, so in this case, one of the mistakes that we want to point out here, that D much more focuses on the fact that she cannot be something she associates with this type other than listening certain aspects, and as most importantly aspects that are in values for Taylor Swift. And in our video we determined that her values are introverted ethics and extroverted intuition. On this aspect she talks a lot, and she got them strong, so most likely she cannot be from the second quadrant overall, because values are different.
Okay, so World Socionic Society, we would say ethical, intuitive introvert for Benedict Cumberbatch, and that his responses in the interview are actually normal for someone of Delta Quadra, who is also an actor. It would be a pleasure to discuss. It would be a pleasure. It would be a pleasure to discuss our different opinions further. Yeah. So what we determined about Benedict Cumberbatch is that he has a lot of introverted intuition and introverted logic in his speech, and from this we are assuming that he has it in values because he didn't talk a lot on any other aspects.
First of all, he is not playing in the interview itself.
You never know.
He just, well, if he is extroverted ethics, maybe. But we're considering that he is not extroverted ethics at all, right? According to this comment. So in this case, he shouldn't be playing during this interview. But he didn't display neither enough extroverted logic or introverted sensing or extroverted intuition or introverted ethics.
He just gave us a bunch of introverted intuition and introverted logic.
Yeah.
So what we can assume from that, from like 40 minutes interview that we watched, that he doesn't have it in values. Wow. That's a weird thing would probably be to assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Main thing you should focus is what aspect he got in values, and we determined, and that's why we consider him being from a second quadra, and we also determined that he was using not just randomly these aspects, he was using them actually quite a lot.
So thank you very much for watching. We hope that this video was useful for you, and you can detect some of the mistakes that people usually do on the earlier stages of typing, and you can detect them, and you can move forward, and you can get more experience and more knowledge, hopefully from our channel.
Or maybe notice some of your own mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And but just know that we read all your comments and they matter to us. And please, if you have some questions, feel free to ask them, and we may make video to answer them.
Mm-hmm. Because we would like to share as much as possible our experience and our knowledge, and we feel like it is important and it has value for people in their everyday lives. If you want to watch more, click the video on the left or on the right.
And to subscribe, click the circular channel icon. Thank you for watching.